Hi everyone, this is Mr. Dave, and for this video I'm going to be showing how to upgrade the motion software, the 4.2, and eliminating some of the depreciated parameters warnings that will be showing up if you actually do an upgrade. So we're going to head off to start with, off to our motion home page. And making sure that we have our documentation up to date. This is actually going to be an upgrade, so we'll actually be working with doing using the release debs in order to actually do the upgrade. And what I have is a Pi Zero that's currently running 4.1. We're just going to upgrade that one. So we're going to log into that particular one so that we can upgrade it. Now obviously the IP is unique to me and my machine for my Pi Zero. And if you actually get in here, we're going to start by actually getting in and seeing that currently the version running is 4.1.1. Now I want to upgrade it to 4.2. So we will start by making sure that we have a directory to work with here. And we're going to be getting the software, so we'll go back over to a little bit further up, our download page. Let's get to our releases page, and I want to go for 4.2, and this is on a Pi stretch. So we'll be actually copy the link there. Back over to wget paste, and that's that command there. And then we'll be making sure we have the GW software installed onto this Pi. I think it is. And it is up to date. And now we will install the new deb. Come back when this is ready to go. Okay, so I've answered yes that I want to install the software up here. It's gone through and actually read the files. Now it's actually asking for whether I want to override the configuration with the new one. Since it's actually an upgrade and I already had Motion set up to work on this particular Pi, I'm actually going to select the default of no. And that's going to maintain the all of my existing configuration parameters that I had already specified in the previous version of Motion. In the most recent versions of Motion, it actually does go through and actually automatically convert your old parameters to the new ones. So if we just type in motion.h, we should be able to actually see now that the version is 4.2. Now, if we actually just start up Motion right now, you'll see it actually is reporting a lot of depreciated parameters for this particular version versus the one that I had installed previously. And I normally don't like these kind of messages, so we're going to break out of motion by pressing Control C for the moment. And the motion configuration file that's actually being used right now is in the etc. directory motion, which is protected, and it does require sudo in order to make any edit changes to it. So for this particular exercise, what we're going to do is temporarily, keyword being temporarily, start up motion using sudo. And this is just so we can make the changes to the parameters. So it is started up, and the previous version of motion I had set up was to allow the web control to actually run on port 8080. So 28 was the IP of my Pi Zero. I'll go to 8080 and open it up. And you can't see it, but it actually is running here. It's actually currently in the dark. And what we're going to do is actually, since we started up as sudo, we can actually click on the write configuration, and it basically is going to rewrite our configuration file based off of the new parameters. So we will back over on our Pi, press Control C, and often the etc. motion. We can see that actually it was including some of these prior ones were from when we're actually doing the upgrade. It actually kept or put into the directory the one that was actually part of the package, but motion is still running against this file here. So if we actually start up motion now, we'll see that we actually don't get any more of those depreciated parameters. What the write configuration is actually, as soon as motion actually starts up, it sees this duplicate frames, for example, this particular parameter. It recognizes it as a old parameter name, and internally it replaced it with movie duplicate frames. And then when we wrote the configuration file, it actually wrote out this as the parameter name. And it also would include all of the various configuration options within the motion.config file. So actually we don't even need sudo for this. If we just go into nano. We can see all of these would be the new parameter names associated with the 4.2 have now been written out to the file. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if you did have particular notes or comments within your motion.config file originally, as soon as you hit the write configuration via the web control here, it's going to overwrite the entire file with all of the new parameters and all of their new values associated with it. But this actually provides a way to easily upgrade all of the old parameter names to the new names, as well as get a configuration file that has all of the options that are available within Motion listed in the file. It can be quite verbose considering there's over 150 particular configuration parameters. But that allows you to see how to actually do a upgrade of Motion and eliminate these depreciated parameters warnings and put in the new ones.